London sleeps differently in the rain. The streets go quiet, but the buildings hum, steel and glass whispering to themselves. Inside one of them, the Grayson Logistics Tower, a single light glowed behind a door marked security control. Daniel Reeves signed the night shift sheet, hung his jacket, and settled into the chair that faced 32 monitors. He'd done this routine so often that his body moved on autopilot. Check the feeds, log the times, sip cold coffee. The city could crumble outside, and he'd still note the hour neatly in the ledger. That kind of discipline kept him sane. At 11:40 p.m. the elevator feed flickered. Just a momentary glitch, a blur of static on camera 12. Daniel tapped the screen, the image steadied. Empty lobby. He wrote minor interference and leaned back again. The hum of machines was almost comforting. Midnight slid in quietly. The janitor, Malik, finished upstairs and radioed, "All clear, mate." Daniel answered, "Copy, quiet down here too." A pause crackled through the line. "Thought I saw someone in the stairwell just now," Malik said, half joking. "Must have been my reflection." They both laughed and the radio clicked off. Daniel didn't see the tiny red light blink on camera 4, the elevator doors sliding open by themselves. At 12:17 a.m., a chime echoed faintly through the corridors. Daniel checked the screen. The elevator stood open, empty. No weight registered on the control system. He frowned, switched to manual diagnostics. The lift hadn't been called from any floor. He spoke softly, maybe a sensor fault. Still, he felt compelled to look. Old habit, never ignore a noise when you're the only one awake. He grabbed the torch, stepped into the corridor. The air smelled like damp paper and disinfectant. Each footstep echoed too loudly. He reached the elevator, pressed the call button. The doors opened at once. Inside, everything looked normal, except the faint scent of metal sharp like rust. He stepped in, pressed B2, the sub-basement. The car vibrated slightly and began to move. Halfway down, the lights dimmed to red emergency glow. Daniel muttered, "Brilliant," and tried the intercom, dead line. He reached for his radio. A hiss of static, then something that sounded like a voice buried deep in the noise. A whisper shaped like his own name. "Daniel." He let out a short breath. "Malik, you on channel." Static. Then again, softer, "Daniel, don't look." He looked anyway, at the mirrored wall of the elevator. For half a heartbeat, his reflection wasn't aligned with him. It stood a fraction behind, head tilted. Then the light flickered back and the mirror was normal. The doors opened onto B2. He stepped into stale air. This level had been closed for months, full of old archive boxes and unused equipment. Rows of files, wires hanging like vines. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, one flickering near the far wall. He aimed the flashlight down the hall. At the end, a CCTV camera still blinked red. Daniel hadn't known this one was powered. He waved at it, uneasy. The camera tilted slightly, as if adjusting focus. Probably motion sensors, he told himself, even though he knew every camera here was manual. He turned back toward the elevator. The doors were closed. On the metal surface was a single wet handprint, larger than his own. He hurried upstairs. The elevator refused to move, the button lights stayed dark. He took the stairwell 2 steps at a time, heart hammering. By the time he reached the control room, he could taste dust in his throat. He slammed the door, locked it, and stared at the monitors. Most feeds were snowed with static, but camera 12 came alive again. It showed the sub-basement corridor. Daniel froze. On the screen, someone was walking there, moving exactly as he had, same torch, same pace. The figure turned toward the lens. It was him. He stared, breath-catching. The version on screen raised its hand and pointed directly toward the camera. Then the feed cut. The radio clicked. Malik's voice sounded strained. "Dan, where are you right now?" "Control rooms, why?" "I'm looking at you on the main floor. You're standing by the lift." "I'm not," Daniel snapped. Silence, then Malik whispered, then who just waved at me. The line went dead. Daniel scrolled through archived footage, heart pounding. The time stamps jumped 12:18 a.m. to 2:41 a.m., skipping over 2 hours he didn't remember. His coffee was cold, half empty, though he'd left it untouched. He rewound camera 12 again, frame by frame until he saw it. His own image entering the sub-basement, then a faint The other Daniel looked up in shock, stood, and reached toward the camera controls. Static burst through the air. Daniel blinked, and he was back in his chair, heart racing, monitors humming around him. The elevator feed showed only an empty lobby. His logbook still open to 11:42 p.m. Maybe he'd dozed off. He wrote one more line, false alarm, power surge. Close the book. Outside, dawn bled pale blew through the windows. Malik entered, yawning, quiet night. Daniel forced a smile, quiet enough. Malik set down his mop bucket, glanced at the screens. He frowned, that's weird. On one monitor, camera 1, Daniel was still sitting perfectly still, eyes fixed forward, not moving. Yet Daniel stood beside him, alive, staring at the same screen. He leaned closer. The figure on the monitor turned its head, just slightly, and smiled.